Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure to be in Hyderabad. What exactly is a mutual fund? A mutual fund is a professionally managed trust which pools money from many investors and then invests in various securities based on the investment objective of the scheme. So therefore, I take money from each one of you, and let me just reiterate here that there is also a misconception that mutual fund is for rich people. Today, you can invest in a mutual fund with as little as 1,000 rupees. So therefore, a mutual fund product is available to each one of you, and for 1,000 rupees, for example, you can buy a large cap fund in this country, and you are effectively a shareholder in the top 50 companies in this country. So how does it work? Investors invest in a particular scheme. The money is pooled into a common fund. The fund manager then, based on the investment objective of the scheme, invests in various securities. These various securities will give you a return, and that return is then passed on completely, except for a SEBI determined cost. The entire income or losses, as the case may be, are completely passed on to the end customer. So therefore, the mutual fund scheme is only a pass-through. I take money from you, I buy securities with that. Whatever the value of the security is on a daily basis, that benefit or loss is passed on to you through what is called the net asset value, or the NAV, which is published on a daily basis. So what do you get from mutual funds? A professionally managed team. We are also very, very regulated. So therefore, to that extent, from a regulatory perspective, you have protection as well. We offer portfolio diversification, which means that when I receive 1,000 rupees from you, I just don't go and buy one bond or one stock. It is in a diversified portfolio. What tends to happen very often when you're a retail investor is that we always talk about that one stock that has gone up 2 times or 3 times, but we never talk about our losses. So you always look at your portfolio, look at your investments on a portfolio basis, and finally try and figure out what that portfolio is earning you. Given the nature and the structure of the mutual fund product, it's highly liquid and convenient to invest, allowing investors to get in and get out pretty much on a daily basis. But as Dinesh told you, that wealth is not created overnight, it is created over time. So therefore, you need to stay invested for long periods of time for you to be able to create wealth. If you keep gold worth more than 10 lakhs, you are liable for wealth tax. But if you buy gold in the ETF form, you're not liable for wealth tax. There is a whole basket of equity funds. There is a whole basket of fixed income funds. And there's a whole basket of hybrid funds, which is a mix of equity and fixed income. So if you want to buy equity funds, there are diversified funds, there are sectoral funds, there are index funds, arbitrage funds, exchange traded funds, and so on and so forth. But my recommendation to you is that unless you are a very, very informed investor, and unless you are not a first time investor, I would strongly suggest that if you are investing in the equity markets, choose the first option, which is diversified equity funds. Do not buy sectoral funds. Sectoral funds is that tadka to your portfolio, right? I mean, it can be 2 or 5 or 10% of your portfolio, but certainly not your entire portfolio. So a core part of your portfolio should always be in diversified funds. On the fixed income side, now we spoke about the fact that you need monthly or income on a regular basis. These fixed income funds, while they may not deliver spectacular returns to you, I mean, you have to look at it against fixed deposits. All fixed income products in the mutual fund space have tax benefits. So therefore, to that extent, fixed income products in the mutual fund space compete very, very favorably on a risk adjusted, on a tax adjusted basis as compared to fixed deposits, but by and large very similar to fixed deposits. Here, once again, if you got money for, let's say, 2 days or 3 days or 15 days, you would use money market funds. But if you got slightly longer term investments, you would use income or what are called bond funds. A hybrid fund is a mix of both. So there are, for example, monthly income plans which have a lot of fixed income, which brings stability to the portfolio, and a little bit of equity, which will give you over a period of time that slightly better return as compared to fixed deposits. And then there are balanced funds which have a large component of equity, but once again will get an element of stability because of the fixed income component in it. We have also launched gold ETFs. I know the love of gold for Indian investors, But here we now have gold exchange traded funds, or ETFs as they are called. So instead of buying gold jewelry where you're paying making charges, etc., or if you buy gold biscuits and you don't know where to put them, the gold ETF is an appropriate option if you want to buy gold as an asset class. So what happens here is that when you invest in a gold ETF, the fund manager goes and actually goes and buys physical gold. But in your case, all you're holding is a piece of paper which says that you hold 2,000 units worth of the gold ETF or whatever it is. So therefore, from a safety perspective, it's very, very safe. Nobody can pilfer that piece of paper. And more importantly, what is very, very interesting is that if you keep gold worth more than 10 lakhs, you are liable for wealth tax. But if you buy gold in the ETF form, you're not liable for wealth tax. So I think to that extent also, the gold ETF becomes a very, very viable option. So what I've just done here is I've put that whole story in a risk reward matrix. So therefore, if you look at money market funds, from a return perspective, they're relatively low, but from a risk perspective also they're relatively low. But as you go up the risk reward hierarchy, you will find that sectoral funds have the highest potential for returns, but also have the highest potential for risk. So therefore, then you have income funds, which are bond funds, which are somewhere in between, and then you have diversified funds, mid-cap funds, and sectoral funds. This is something that you need to understand as well, especially from a holding period perspective. When I say holding period perspective, what that means is that how long are you going to hold these investments? Are you going to hold them for 3 months, 6 months? So as you go higher in terms of risk, it is fair to assume that you need to hold them for longer and longer periods of time. Otherwise, the risk as defined by volatility could potentially impact you. So like I said, what is your investment goal? If I want capital appreciation, very clearly, capital appreciation, wealth creation, whatever you want to call it, you would buy equity mutual funds. If I want to generate regular income, I would buy debt mutual funds. If I want to preserve my capital but get some sort of return, I would use money market mutual funds. Think of money market mutual funds like your savings account, right? You leave some money in the savings account on a regular basis. Money market mutual funds are exactly like that, but the returns here are slightly better and once again are more tax efficient. Lastly, I just want to leave one idea. I'm sure you've heard of this many times, and mutual funds have been working very hard at propagating this. Many of us think that we can actually beat the market on a day-to-day basis, and so therefore we want to go in and out of stocks on a daily basis. But if you're a long-term investor and if you want the Warren Buffett kind of returns, the most important thing that you have to do is you have to be a disciplined investor. One of the options which mutual funds have come up with is what is called systematic investment plans, which means that you can sign up with us and you can invest as little as 1,000 rupees on a monthly basis, such that over a period of time the corpus grows. And what this is doing for you is that you are benefiting from the volatility. So if you look at, let's say for example, you've invested 5,000 rupees, the NAV is 10 rupees, you've bought 500 units of that scheme. When the NAV goes down, you buy more units, and when the NAV goes up, you buy less units. But over a period of time, you will find that the performance of your total corpus, because you've invested like this rather than in one lump sum, the performance of your investment is superior to what you would have done assuming that you would have put money in a lump sum basis. This is a fantastic way of investing in the equity markets over a long period of time.
Can you explain what it is high beta, low beta, please?
See, high beta are the stocks which actually deviation is more than the standard deviation. If we say Sensex is volatile on that day by say 1%, and if any stock is volatile more than 2%, goes down by 2%, then beta we say it is high. But if it goes down by just 0.5%, we say beta is low.